Welcome to the exciting rebirth of Superstar, featuring choose your membership rate as low as just $3 a month. At Superstar, you get expanded, exclusive video scopes each and every week, unlimited access to special horoscopes, class passes for Synchronicity University, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space. I look forward to meeting you there. Hello, fabulous superstar Scorpio. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of May 2022. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boy, is this massive. We are going to have an eclipse in your sign, and that happens on the 16th. This is so important for you. Eclipses always bring with them dramatic change. And it is this eclipse in particular that I spoke of in the year ahead horoscope for you. So I will be sure to link to the year ahead video below. But the reason I mentioned it in the year ahead video is because it's so important and because it's so powerful. Your ancient ruling planet and modern ruling planet are both speaking with this eclipse. It's like all of you is in this newfound sense of self that is likely to find you mid-month. And so for some Scorpios out there, this is going to bring a brand new identity, but it's going to be defined by an ending of some kind. Like maybe you realizing some chapter is over so that now you can be more you. Maybe an awareness comes about as to whom it is that you've been, and a decision now that who you are today is different. So you're going to go forward from here. In some way or another, you're coming to a depth of understanding as to who you are, and it's lending itself to a rebirth, a fresh beginning, but again, a closure as part of that as well. Remember, and as I've told you, look, eclipses, I have seen incredible changes take place when people have an eclipse in their sign. I'll give you some examples. These are examples I love to use whenever somebody has an eclipse in their sign. I talk about how I have seen people, lots and lots of people, eclipses in their sign, quit using drugs. That's happened a lot. Changes in your relationships can happen as well. I have seen people make dramatic changes to how they live because they understand themselves differently. The changes are always rooted in a shift in identity. And I remember I met a couple of people who had an eclipse in their sign. They went vegan. I went one person who had an eclipse in their sign, and they were vegan for 10 years and they started eating meat again. So really it's because the identity shifts. That's what happens. And because the identity shifts, everything else sort of has this domino effect and changes for you as well. And so lunar eclipses, a chapter ends and you're happy about it. That's the key. We do have Mars and Neptune meeting with precision in the sky under the light of this eclipse, speaking in supreme harmony with the eclipse. And what that suggests is your spiritual understanding, your sense of connection to the larger world, your sense of connection to yourself is a key part of your understanding of what changes for you now. Your heart is awakened in powerful ways, mystical, spiritual ways, very possible. Pluto, in that communicative part of your sky, also speaking in harmony with that eclipse. It tells me that information, synchronistic connections are definitely part of a new understanding. And then Saturn at the foundation of your chart, squaring that eclipse, says you're very aware that you're challenging perhaps your family or childhood messages. You're challenging some of your training, your early childhood training. And in some way, the direction in which you're changing now is so new as to be contrary to some key understanding of how you were raised. But ultimately, in challenging that, you find yourself. It could also be, I'm sorry to say it does happen, it could also be that there's some resistance or tension with your family of origin that's part of helping you to find clarity within yourself today. And as part of the wisdom, it unlocks and opens your heart in powerful ways as well. And so, if I'm not very clear, this is very, very powerful. This eclipse is the star of the show for you. Just be open because it's not always what you expect, especially when an eclipse is involved. It is going to be just a week earlier on the 10th of the month that Jupiter is going to change signs, moving into a part of the sky for you that has to do with your daily life. And Jupiter will be here right to the last days of October before retrograding back to where he's been over the last few months, which is that heart-oriented part of the sky. And so this is going to bring healing to matters of health, matters of habits, bring a sense of greater work-related opportunity as well. And so I am going to have a Jupiter special horoscope here on this channel, so be on the lookout for that. Please be sure to follow the channel so that you get that notification. And I will dive into that a lot more deeply for you mid-month. As we navigate towards the end of the month, that is when we are going to have a new moon. That new moon takes place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your understanding of wealth, your relationship with financial institutions. It also has to do with profound change, profound truth. Now, that new moon is going to be speaking in harmony with Jupiter and Mars. I love this energy for you. It's like work-related opportunity helps you to have new opportunities in wealth creation. It's as if how you're living in your smallest moments goes through a transformation that you feel really good about. Your health goes through a transformation that you feel really good about as well. So there's lots of blessings here, lots of healing here where it comes to how much you can change from the inside out. It's like this ongoing theme. An eclipse in your sign, that represents transformation, big transformation. But it's almost like with that new moon, that very emotional change mid-month then lends itself to new opportunities, new understandings, and a way in which to approach the transformation of self so that it shows up in your practical lived experience. Now, where it comes to matters of love, I really think it is all about that eclipse, I have to tell you. Because that eclipse has to do with emotional truth, chances are it is what's happening with another person that is part of what's leading you to more personal understanding. That eclipse is going to bring a lot of emotion right to the surface. The fact that Mars and Neptune, both moving through a part of the sky for you that has to do with what you want in your heart of hearts in every area of life. Well, the fact that that eclipse is speaking to that heart-oriented placed planets, well, it does suggest that what's happening in love is a key part of what's helping you to understand yourself differently. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, what a remarkable time this can be in the context of new connections, new understandings. It is those interactions that awaken something within you, that help you to understand yourself, your desires, and open your heart in very powerful ways, regardless of what does or doesn't happen. Because remember, we are going to have Mercury retrograde, and part of that Mercury retrograde happens in your opposite sign as well towards the end of the month. People from the past could just sort of reappear as part of finding deeper resolution, regardless of what happens with another person mid-month. It's the power you find within, the understanding you find within that aligns you with greater love than you've known before. For those of you just starting to date somebody, I think that eclipse is going to be a moment of truth, kind of all or nothing. Now, do I think that if you decide this isn't the person for you, which is possible, and you have faith and love to go in a different direction, it's possible that that happens. And yet, remember, as we get to the end of the month, Mercury will retrograde back into your opposite sign, which could bring that person around for some final understanding, final consideration, final closure. But for all that, it's also possible that as you get to that eclipse, you realize how connected you feel to this person and you're willing to be that much more open. And it's truly possible, especially mid-month, that you're feeling ready to continue to evolve this connection. Now, what's actually going on, who this person is, the depth of understanding. I think you may see this person differently in some way, with greater depth in some way as we navigate to the end of the month and into the next. Keep in mind, Mercury retrograde in your opposite sign. Breakups that happen tend to not stay broken up. And so regardless of what happens with this person, I do think you'll be taking another look or giving it another chance as we get late month. And for those of you in an established bond, it can be a very powerful time. I feel like your heart is open. Your heart is feeling so alive as you begin the month. I mean, we did have that solar eclipse in your opposite sign, giving you a brand new perspective on your partner. And that very surprise energy is still with you in the first days of this month. By the time we get mid-month, it's like you're able to be more deeply honest with yourself. You're able to find a deeper connection. And for the overwhelming majority of Scorpios, that means strengthening the bond, especially given the position of what is taking place with that new moon at the end of the month. However, for a small percentage of Scorpios out there, if you've known for a while that you're not in the right relationship for you, well, Jupiter is going to help you to get more deeply honest about that. However, remember, again, we've got that retrograde happening at the end of the month. The retrograde happens earlier in the month, actually. However, most of that retrograde is going to take place in the part of the sky for you that has to do with where that new moon is happening. Profound change, profound truth. And for you, uncovering your truth, looking more deeply at your truth is a part of that. But it is with Mercury retrograde in your opposite sign towards the end of the month, as that retrograde steps back into your opposite sign. That is when breakups are possible, and breakups that happen with Mercury retrograde in your opposite sign tend to not stay broken up. So remember that as well. What I love about this month for you, well, there's a lot here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I absolutely love how the energy this month moves you towards greater wealth, but really it is about you, right? That eclipse is going to bring authenticity, truth, and change to who you know yourself to be, what matters to you most, and what matters to you first. Your identity is going to go through some shift that's karmic, whose time has come. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with choose your membership rate at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Now, higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. Access to live events and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Link is in the description below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.